You're listening to the B4evaKool podcast. My name is Fortyfive.
Your boy Smitty from Smith Shot Racing.
Your boy Track Stars, Jose.
TJ from Two Wheels and Coffee.
What's going on, everyone? I mean, this is, I feel really humbled having all you guys on because you guys are doing great things in your own right. And I really appreciate all y'all coming on tonight. And we're going to chop it up and have some fun. Get into this MotoGP race because this last round in Indonesia was pretty crazy. So what do you guys think about the sprint race? Did it go according to plan from you guys, or what was your thoughts on that sprint race?
Go ahead, Track Stars. What you got?
Well, man, it's tough with Martin, man. It's tough. I don't know what's going on with my brother, Pecco, to me, when it comes to the sprint races, nobody's better than Martin at sprint races.
Right.
I agree.
But I believe that he beats himself every time. He lets the pressure get to him, and that's the differentiation between Jorge Martin and Pecco. Pecco is the more strong-minded rider. Martin is the wilder, take more of a risk rider,
Okay.
And I think that's why the sprint races work for him. It's 12 laps, and you could go from the gate, just click and take your chance, take your risk. Pecco normally wins the race because it's 19, 20 laps, and then it's the build-up and the challenge of conserving the tires and not out-racing yourself, like conserving yourself towards the end. And this championship is wild.
Close, yeah, real close.
So
Just two horses.
And what about you, Smitty? What's your thoughts on the sprint?
So what Jose just said, I agree, but Pecco's gotten way better because in the past couple of years, like last year and probably, but a year prior, even though Pecco won a championship, he made it hard for himself. But he kept crashing out a lot towards the end and the last couple of races. Like, dog, what are you doing, man? So he has been a bit more mature this year, less risky, more confident, smarter, and he's doing better this year. I mean, he still made a few mistakes, but not as many as he has in the years previously. So he's gotten better. And Martin, like you said, he's still aggressive. He still needs better strategy, but I think he's the better rider, but not smarter,
Yeah.
And he's better because the sprints are shorter. The sprints don't really need strategy. You just go, you know what I'm saying? I think that's what Martin does better. But when it comes to like a longer race where strategy is involved, Martin does suffer now a little bit. So, but right now in GP, it's a two-man race now between those two. So we'll see what happens in the next few races, but it's going to be a good next few weeks with GP right now. So I like where it's at,
What about you?
Well, yeah, like Track Star said, I like the underdog too. So that's how I always grew up. So Jorge Martin, I'm not saying he's my favorite, but I am definitely rooting for him to at least win a championship this year. But this guy, man, there's just something that he has in him that is just like he doesn't seem like he doesn't put out a good strategy most times. Like he's guessed a few times and come up short a few times, a few races. But yeah, I just this one thing that Rexy talked about, that Pecco will take a lead and he can manage a 1 second or 2 second lead, where Jorge Martin is trying to just pull away and stretch it as long as he can. And it's unfortunate that he crashed out in the sprint, but you see when he got back up, he was overtaken a lot of riders.
Yeah.
So I mean, he needs to just settle in. I mean.
Yeah,
that just irritates me sometimes.
That you brought that up, and that's a good point. That him not pitting, sticking it out, and fighting till the end to try to get a point. He didn't get a point, but at least knowing that he still went in and rode like hell because he passed a lot of really good riders. You guys mentioned about Martin needs to stay calm and stuff like that, and how Pecco seems to have it figured out. Do you think it's because Martin may have animosity because he didn't get that factory seat, and just that has to hurt. I mean, you're going to you're sleeping in the same bed as your ex-wife, your soon-to-be ex-wife, right? Essentially, and you still have to do everything right every day, smile, be happy, and be positive and work hard. And then on Pecco's side, he has that machine around him. It's a machine now, but when VR46 Academy started, it wasn't a machine, but now it is. And so, he has Rossi, he has his boys who they're all pretty much factory riders of 2025. How do you think that plays in between both of them and the mistakes that they make?
So I think, it could be a little bit of jealousy and now he's trying to override the fruit to prove a point, but it's just who he is, And you got to think also why Pecco is a bit more calm, because he's been trained by Rossi, Martin was not. And Rossi, in terms of mental, like being in the game mentally, that was his forte, Rossi. So Pecco is his protege. It makes sense why, So it's my theory. Could be wrong, but
Yo, you nailed it on the head, boy. Yo, Martin gotta feel like straight up it's him against the world.
Yeah.
Straight up and down. Why? Because VR46 is the family. It's the mafia in MotoGP. You got VR46 on Honda. You got VR46 on Ducati. You got VR46 damn near on every bike on the grid. Yeah. And if that rider is in front and Pecco's in front, he basically got a shield. You know what I'm saying? that Martin has to go through and fight through just to get to second place. You know what I'm saying? That's why. And yo, I've been thinking this thing the whole time, like, yo, why is Martin so aggressive right out the gate? Is it he has to be to get to the front and not have to fight through and wear his whole tire or before the race even begun, He basically even fighting through the hot lap, the warm-up lap, you know what I'm saying? The race started for him.
Right.
A whole lap before the race even started. But yo, you nailed that on the head saying that. Because I've been thinking that, why nobody talks about that on MotoGP?
Yeah.
But it's you can't speak against Valentino Rossi. And that's my God. You know what I'm saying? Like, every helmet I got, I wish that Martin grew up VR46. I know it'd be a lot different.
But you know what it's like? It's like team rules, but they're not on the same team.
I mean, you saw it in this past race, right?
Yeah.
You saw the help. It don't even gotta be said. You know what's going on.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
talk to me, TJ.
Not to cut you off, but TJ, I ought to add this. We saw the help when the Spaniards stopped Rossi from getting that last title, even though. So I'll just throw that out.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, go ahead, TJ.
I mean, you can see it at it's just you can see the animosity. That's the great word that you chose. Like he has a lot of animosity build up, and sometimes like when he was winning, you could see his celebration was just a little over the top. It's just like he's just trying to climb up a big tree, and there's just too many big branches in the way where he can get up to the top, and it's just another one just grows in the way. Now you got like Bastianini always undercutting him now, so there's just always someone in the way. It's just unfortunate. It's just like you said, Pecco grew up with more of the fundamentals and got into racing that way, and I feel like Martin came up more, I don't want to say like myself, but like off the street and had to learn the fundamentals later, where he's just using more of his talent, and they don't like to see it that way.
Right. No doubt. You brought up Bastianini. I mean, this last round, well, no, he did all right in the sprint. He finished on a podium in the sprint. There was still a little bit of talk of him. That last pass on Martin to win the weekend before. Do you think that he has a chance to be the spoiler? For the next 5 races.
Yeah, he does. He does. Because he's running, I mean, granted, it's a 2-man race points-wise, but speed-wise, it's probably 3 or 4. So, I mean, spoilers, even Marquez could go in there and dice up things a little bit. So, and Mark, the most aggressive guy out there. So, that's why I love the guy, man.
Man, I don't know. The Beast is, I think he's super talented. He was hurt from last year. Comes back this year slow. You could tell he's finally feeling like himself and being that competitive person that he is. But I don't think there's a way for him to get back into this race. I think next year he moves on to a different team. He actually is gonna be partners with Martin, no, at Aprilia.
Oh, Vinales at KTM.
At KTM, okay. So with Martin is gonna be
Aprilia with Bezecchi.
With Bezecchi, that's right. So to me, I think they're gonna cut the ties that they were the one battling for that second seat with Pecco. And Bastianini had a better season, and gets the seat. The second year again, here the question: will Martin get the second seat again? And obviously he's not getting it.
Right.
Which is again all the animosity that you brought up.
Right.
And why he kind of forced himself to make that decision, because one thing you don't do in any racing is speak bad on the Ducati.
Right.
We seen several riders make this mistake and no longer be in MotoGP.
Right.
And names don't gotta be said, but the people who know. And Martin, by saying what he said about the Ducati and making this choice and the decision, how they did it, and blowing up that he was the one for the seat, and that Ducati will make you look really bad and take you out. And that's what happened. Martin's gone.
Right.
But how does this affect the race? Again, Martin competing for this championship. They both made mistakes too. Pecco has made mistakes this season that he wasn't making last season.
Right.
And this what they call it, a pendulum, is swinging back and forth between them two, which is making the championship unbelievable, but it's letting names like we just said, Bastianini in, Marquez in, and
Costa.
These people were way back, way behind, and now you're starting to see the points add up and they're catching up. But what exactly is gonna happen within the next few rounds? I think it's gonna stay the same. It'll be between Pecco and Martin, just like last year until that last race.
Okay.
TJ?
I agree to that. No, I don't think Bastianini has a chance. I think he screwed it up one of the last races, but I don't think he has a chance. He's down 70 points or something like that. And I think this race coming up is very crucial because it's the third race in 3 weeks, and they're flying all over the place. So I think it's going to come down to the top two is Pecco and Jorge Martin. It's going to go back and forth. But I think it's a little bit out of reach for Marquez and Bastianini, because Marquez is 3 points behind Bastianini. So, I mean, they will have to do something outrageous. I mean, they do have the the confidence at this time. They are putting out podiums, so
Okay.
anything can happen. I mean, they can get it down to a couple points, and can't make mistakes. As I was saying, there's so many races in a short amount of time.
Right.
They got to stay healthy.
Oh yeah.
Okay, tell you what though. What I said just now, I probably misspoke. When I said, Marquez and Beast may mix things up, I mean points wise, because understand Marquez and Beast points wise, they can't win. However, what I meant was that they may, be ahead of Martin or Pecco, kind of mix things up between them two. That's kind of get in the way. That's what I meant. So that's all.
Right. And to actually, I was going to bring that up. So I'm glad you clarified that, because it's not just Marquez and Bastianini. It's also Morbidelli.
Costa.
It's also Bezzecchi. It's Acosta. These are some riders that can take points away from those guys. If Martin makes another mistake like he did, these guys have a chance to win one of these races coming up that I just mentioned. What are your thoughts on that?
Let's go back to the biggest mistake Martin made to make this so close that it is. His decision to pit out with Pecco ahead of him. You seeing the rider in front of you that you're leading the points, not pit in for a tire change because of the wet. What you have to lose is these mental mistakes are even worse than a crash.
Yeah.
Because you almost wish you got hurt and injured and taken out of the championship this way than to know that you made a 25-point mistake by pitting out or doing something stupid on the motorcycle where nothing was risked but just your mistake. Track limit penalty or something like that. And this is Martin's Achilles heel. Martin doesn't. He was a crashinator, but now it's a mentalator because he kills himself mentally.
Crashinator.
Yeah, remember he was crashing like every race and still managed to be in the championship the way he was. But if we go back to that and we think, how they say history repeats itself, right?
Right.
And Martin has to make history not repeat itself this season.
Okay.
Because the ultimate slap in the face to us Ducatistas is for him to win on the Ducati and then leave to Aprilia.
Yeah.
Yo, imagine.
Wow. Yes.
Right.
Go ahead, talk, Smitty. Talk on that.
All I'm going to say is coin that phrase, crashinator. Trademark it, man.
Yo, I don't think I came up with that one. I think I heard that one on MotoGP.
Yeah, they be dogging them. What are your thoughts, TJ?
I forgot the original question because we went back.
do you think that Bezzecchi, Morbidelli, Acosta, Marquez, Bastianini, are they going to be the spoilers? Are they going to be one to kind of take points away from those two guys by finishing in front of them or in between them?
I could definitely say Morbidelli, Pedro Acosta definitely. He's just been riding like an animal this year, so I'm super proud of how he's been riding. So he's not afraid to get up in the mix. As you see, as of late, Morbidelli has been finding his way in the top 10. So it's been good to see. He's not afraid either. But I think they can hopefully chip away a few points. But they have to get a good start. They got to get a good start because Pecco, Martin, Marquez, those guys, Marquez could start from 12th, and you see he jumped into like 4th place going into the sprint. Right. I'm not sure if that was a sprint or GP, but
it was. I think it was a sprint.
I think they can help chip away.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. And let's go into the GP and just let's talk about Yamaha and Honda for a little bit between the whole weekend, because I remember talking to TJ some episodes ago, and I was saying that if Yamaha or Honda could finish in the top 10, or start finishing in the top 10, that's some really good results for them when you got 8 Ducatis or 7 Ducatis finishing in the top 10. Do you think, this past weekend was a fluke for those guys, or are they on the way up? Pick either. You can talk about both manufacturers or either one.
Look, you know me. I'm a Honda fanboy, so it's not a fluke, man. Zarco's a veteran. Yeah. He's a good rider, a smart rider. They have, I forgot what it's called. They have more practice time during races, right? Because they're so behind in points.
Yeah, I think they can do more testing. Yeah,
more testing. I mean, so testing on a bike is like having a session or two before the race. So it does help. So yes, I feel that closing the gap, but the gap is so big, it's not going to close. But they are getting closer. So not a fluke at all.
I don't know, man. I love Luca, Johan. I think I'm not sure what Honda's doing at this moment. I think because it doesn't even seem that they're really collecting data or anything, right? Because how far back they are consistently. They're usually the last 2 riders. This weekend, something happened as far as their performance. But I would have to see something the next race in order to say, yes, this wasn't a fluke. This wasn't something out of the extraordinary. But Yamaha is showing signs of improvement because it's been consistent, especially with
Fabio.
With Fabio, yeah. And I think the main thing is Fabio's motivation. He knows he's getting the engine. It's coming. There will be a Yamaha V4 engine coming. And it's going to be, super competitive because that's what they've been missing the whole time. They've been trying to stick with this inline engine. It works here in the US and it even worked in World Superbike, but not anymore. The Ducati's so far ahead and the BMW has taken itself to another level of riding. So, but I feel that this has inspired Quattorano to really push and try to show these guys, not only am I still competitive, I can compete with this engine, so get ready for what's coming when I get my V4. It's over.
Mr. Young?
Like I said, I don't know what Honda's doing. It sucks to see every race, Joan Mir going down. I can predict it now. Like when it's like a flag in sector 2, like must be Honda or Mir, and sure enough. I mean, and Mir's my, I love Mir, you know what I'm saying? I rock his helmets and stuff like that, but I just don't understand the project Honda has, like Trackstar was saying, what data they're using. Like they got all this contingency
right
to burn up all these tracks they can go to unlimited, test anything they can, no limit on the engine, and they can't even finish top 15. I think this race especially was a fluke. I mean, Fabio definitely did good, but I mean, there's only 12 riders that finished.
In the sprint.
Right.
I mean, 12 riders finished.
Right, he was 8th. Yeah, that ain't bad, man. It's top 10. So
I mean, you do got, it's a survival to finish. You do gotta get the points. You do gotta finish the race. But as far as like a manufacturer, like I see Zarco, finished. Fabio, even Taka got some points, but I think there was a little fluke.
Yeah, man, it's tricky. Zarco, I don't want to say he's overriding that bike, but he's the most consistent rider out of the Honda camp. And Yamaha is doing it with only 2 riders at the moment, not 4 with Honda. So for them to be, having more gains on Honda, we do wonder what Honda is doing, and maybe Repsol knew something, and that's why they decided to leave. But it seems like KTM and Aprilia, more Aprilia than KTM, because it seems like Acosta is kind of getting there. but it seemed like they are also struggling a little bit as well now as the second half of the season. Probably even all year, but definitely the second half of the season.
Okay, fair enough. But say it again.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I mean, so, and I said it probably a couple of weeks ago that he started out pretty well, Costa, and he kind of tailed off a tiny bit though. But I think he's finally getting back on track. So I think KTM is still doing, what it should be doing. So, but I do like what I see, out of Acosta. And to be honest, I think maybe 3 years he's a world champion. In my opinion. So, and the kid has personality. So I love the kid, man. I love Acosta.
Acosta is our young Marquez, man. He's fearless. Doesn't have no regard for no name on the grid. Right. Everyone is the same to him. Every rider that's in front of him is another target, and he don't care what you're competing for. You're against him, and he's coming for you. And I think that's what Marc Marquez brought to MotoGP. The only name that Marquez ever respected was Rossi until Rossi made the move on him, and he said, "Okay, gloves are off. No more respect." Acosta came into the game, gloves off. From day one, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And when people come into any sport, it brings the competitiveness out of everyone, right? When you see people like even in basketball, John Morant, like he comes into the game with this energy, like I'm the best, and I know I just got here, but I'm better than I want to dunk on LeBron James.
Right.
That's a big statement, you know what I'm saying? And to continuously try to do that, and that's how Acosta comes into the race every time. He said, I'm going to get you in these first laps, and if I get in the front, forget about it. I'm trying to check out on you guys. And I think that's making you seeing the paint swap this year. This is all his energy.
Yeah.
Even from people like as quiet as Bezecchi, they want to get in the mix early, and they don't care because you could take my wing off. I'm going to take yours off, and bump me. It's all good. I'm not going to say nothing. Even Martin had to eat that pass that Marquez put on him because this is how they've been racing all year. And that's why there was no penalty, because they're saying, yeah, we're racing, we're going to swap paint here, and can't nobody say nothing. Yeah. And I think this came all from the young guns mentality.
Okay.
Right. I mean, look, this kid already has a nickname coming into MotoGP.
Oh, for
Shark.
real.
The Shark. I mean, I didn't even want, like, I apologize, but like him coming into GP this year, it was so unexpected, it was unexpected for probably most. But like the bar is set so high for, even though he was the only rookie coming in this year, the bar is set so high. Like we have Aldegier coming, a couple other riders, Soundshot.
Cantra.
I mean, butchered his name all the time, but yeah, the bar is set so high. I mean, like this kid definitely started off with no gloves on. He basically, he didn't care who was in front of him. But you see as the engines develop and everyone develop, you see him. You have a little setback. There's a little learning curve. But I'm sure he'll figure that out. It's just like he has that eye in him. Like he's willing to learn. He's taking everything in every direction, and he puts it out there for sure with his blood, sweat.
I completely agree. And it's pretty amazing to see his transformation from Moto3 to Moto2 to MotoGP physically. Because that dude is he's jacked now. He's like, he's jacked.
Yeah, he's not that skinny kid no more.
You know what I mean? And that was pretty impressive, where I felt like some of these other riders took a little bit longer to work on their physicality in MotoGP to be more competitive. Before we move on to Moto2, would you guys say this season is one of the best seasons in MotoGP? I mean, probably, last 8 to 10 years, probably closer to 15 up.
I'd say yes. And, but the only reason why, because it's a real tight race, between two guys. Simple as that. Because, in the past, some guys ran away with it. It wasn't close and the names weren't there. So, yeah, I love it this year. Different race winners, the sprint races, guys crashing out of first place and bad. It's a lot of drama going on, and that makes for better racing, you know. So yeah, one of the best years we had since Rossi and Marquez, you know, banging elbows a couple years ago, you know. So I mean, a decade ago, not a couple years ago.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it's the best year. I think obviously I'm a Ducati fan, but at the same time I know that there's 6 Ducatis on the grid. 6 or 8, what is it? 8 Ducatis on the grid. I think that kind of takes a little bit away from it. And
take away in what way?
I think in the way of seeing other, I miss Suzuki on the grid.
Okay.
I miss seeing them on the grid. I'm excited about the potential of BMW joining the grid. I like seeing all the manufacturers there. I like to be able to argue with every motorcycle rider at the gas station every time they pull up. Look at the Jixer just pulled in. You know what I'm saying?
But to just jump in on what Smitty said, now you got at least 7 riders been very competitive. Where in the past, Marquez ran away with it, Lorenzo ran away with it, Dovizioso ran away with it, Rossi ran away with it, or it's a couple of riders fighting. Now, at least what I mean. There's more mixing up going on.
Yeah, but we get the argument of, is it the rider or is it the bike?
Okay.
I don't like that argument.
Right. Well, yeah,
I like it to be kind of decisive. Yes, it is Rossi. You know what I'm saying? Yes, it is Marquez.
Right.
Yes, it is Lorenzo. Because you didn't have now one company dominating MotoGP. And now we really do have that because the Ducati is the best bike. But
to wheel back a little bit, we kind of did Honda dominated
for years,
Rossi and Marquez and Edwards and these guys. Yamaha dominated for a grip because they got the most titles, and it's
But remember again, like you couldn't say it wasn't Rossi. You couldn't say it wasn't Marquez. It was all rider. Now what they say, right? Marquez is the only one who could ride the Honda that way.
Right. And
you know what I'm saying? When
he couldn't.
When it was the Yamaha, Rossi had it and Lorenzo, they were obviously very dominant on it. But when they left, did Fabio win it right away?
I think 3 years in. I think he came in 19.
Exactly, right? So you had to give the credit to who the rider was at that time. I think now we're losing the credibility of the skill of the rider and blaming the motorcycle. But I think if you tell me season for season, I think, and Marquez, I don't want to sound like a hater, but when Marquez wasn't there, I think that was the best season.
Okay. DJ?
Hater.
So I think this is a really good season, but I'll tell you guys what my best season. But I really like where MotoGP is going with the sprint racing and stuff.
I love
hopefully they add more to it, like maybe Moto2 do a sprint. I think I overheard, I don't know if it's real, but they might be doing some like voice communication, telecom with the riders,
like
and stuff like that next year.
Martin needs it.
He needs it. But my favorite season since I've been watching MotoGP has to be the Valentino Rossi farewell year. I think every race was just lit, and then I just wanted to see what he can do. Every race he had a celebration. I think that was just the funnest season to watch for me. But as MotoGP going right now, I like how it's going because everyone is competitive. There was a time where there was a gap between riders. Now they're like literally not even half a second off of each other. They're like hundreds of thousands of seconds. So everyone's super competitive. Anyone could win, but as you see, the top riders are where they are right now because where we are at the season. So
yeah.
No doubt. Let's jump into Moto 2 briefly before we get into World Superbike. Aaron Canet. I didn't think he was going to get this one. I mean, it's tough watching him at the front.
Finally.
Yo,
Can't catch a break.
to me,
Go ahead.
Aaron Canet belongs in MotoGP.
Think so?
I don't know. I know that he has all these tattoos, and he's one of the older ones in Moto 2. And if you ask me who I want to come up, I know I'm American, so I would love Joe Roberts to come up. He belongs on that Trackhouse team, but man, I would love to see Aaron Canet up on MotoGP because he deserves it. He's been battling down there for so long. I don't know. You tell me, Smitty.
No, you're right. He's been there for a while doing his thing, but he came up, he snuck one in and did a great job. Like you said, I still think Joe Roberts should be in GP, but Subcat Chantra took his spot. Well, not his spot, but he took a spot that I felt he should have been doing.
I agree.
Joe Roberts' spot.
Yeah,
I agree.
I'm sorry, I agree. Yeah,
that's money, my brother.
it is. It's pockets of the game. So
to me, that what's my guy's name that he's leaving MotoGP?
Nakagami.
Taka Nakagami. I think that's another money situation. He's been in MotoGP, really not being the best rider for a long time. But he stayed in, and I think that you pay to play. And I think that was a money situation, and I think this is another money situation for Trackhouse.
You do not to jump in, but do you think Aprilia Factory's holding it against Joe Roberts when he had the opportunity to come to Aprilia years ago and didn't because he felt the bike wasn't competitive? He wasn't the only one, but people hold grudges.
Yeah, but the problem here is that if it were Aprilia Factory, no doubt. Stay. You told us no, we're telling you no now. But this is Trackhouse. This is the American livery on the freaking motorcycle. How do you not bring Joe Roberts? It's like telling Tom Brady wants to come back to play right now. You think anyone in the NFL will give him the seat? He's the All-American. He's the star of the U.S.
Right.
So how are you going to tell Joe Roberts no?
True.
That's crazy.
Great point.
The only way you tell him no is because I'm getting a big check, and they helping out to keep this program in MotoGP. We knew we had a year or two, but we don't have 10. Right. With this guy, we got 10 years here. Okay, I get it. What do you think, CJ?
I mean, I know I'm gonna go back to Aaron Canet, but I definitely think Joe Roberts should be on Trackhouse. I know Igor is leading the championship. He's a really good rider. Should have won championship a few years ago, but they changed it to Trackhouse. I forget what it was before, but I thought we were trying to grow the riders from the American side. Yeah. Once upon a time, there was more American GP riders. That was before I was really watching it, but now we're trying to grow the sport a little better. So I thought that was the goal. To
right.
We had it's not always American rider. We are fortunate to have one in Moto 2, and it just seemed to line up perfectly. So when I heard the news of Igor, that was pretty shocking. But with respect to him, I mean, I think he'll represent pretty well. But Aaron Canet, I've been rooting for him all year. And this guy can't buy a break. He's always on the podium getting second or what have you, but he can't get it first. He got one beginning of the year. He's almost got one last round, but it got stolen right back from him. So the motivation to stay up front, he definitely deserved the win there. But he also definitely deserves a seat. I never really thought of that. And I think the tattoos has something to do with it.
I agree with you on the tattoo part, and he deserves a seat. are the guys that we mentioned going to MotoGP. Are any of those guys better than Canet?
No.
But not looking like it after they got
Agora
cut.
probably yes.
What you say?
Agora.
Yeah.
I mean, he's leading in points, right? So you can't say he's not, honestly.
Got more podiums though. Canet got more podiums, even though there's a bunch of seconds.
Yo, my brother. Say that one more time.
He has the most podiums, a bunch of seconds, but still.
Yo,
So
I think there's just something about his personality, something he did. I'm not sure. I know that tattoos play a role.
Can't even see him.
I think, yeah, and that's what's crazy, right?
So he's tattooed, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't have no tattoos. Why? I love tattoos. My wife has tattoos. I don't have none. But why? Because my parents always put that in me. You'll be judged, and there are things that you will not get due to that.
Okay.
People judge you based off what they can see on you.
Right.
So if you have a record or you've done bad things, as long as it's not visible on you or put on you, no one will know. But when you put tattoos on you, the assumption are that you are those tattoos. You are what that means. You or what that symbolizes. And tattoos mean bad people. That's what people who had tattoos, that's more or less what they say you are.
My tattoos.
And that's not the case anymore. I think times have changed, and obviously MotoGP is changing, and you see there's more. Not everybody looks the same with the same haircut, and now people got different hairstyles, different different logos, like everything. We're bringing more of the streets to MotoGP. You see Jordans on everyone's feet,
Right.
Supreme. The culture is becoming part of that. So I hope that we get to see Connect soon. I thought this would be the year because of how much the street influence is visible in MotoGP, especially with people like Bezecchi and Quattorano. Like you really see the style of our hood or the street fashion in them. Like and it's so accepted, you know, but no Connect, that's disappointing.
But like whatever brand doesn't want to represent, I guess that look, you know.
Yeah, no,
that's true, right?
Can't see it when you got the uniform on though. That's the thing.
right.
It's only off stage.
And the crazy part is, you know, Quattararo got tattooed, Bezecchi got tats, Martin, Pecco got tats. So there are a lot of guys, and you know we're gonna jump into World Superbike, and you see Alvaro, he's all tatted up. So
Unione.
yeah, exactly. You know what I mean, as well. And so it is interesting for him, and you know, these guys are going to age out of Moto 2 eventually. So hopefully, Canet does get a seat because I think he would be a really good MotoGP rider, maybe similar to Martin, because I think they have similar styles, or even a Danny Pedrosa because these guys are smaller and stuff like that. So you know, I think. You know, I mean, I know Danny Pedrosa had trouble in the later part of his career keeping heat in the tire on them cold days on that Honda. But outside of that, if it's a hot day, them guys were really fast being that small. So hopefully that would happen. But let's jump into World Superbike, man, because it was in Aragon. It's one of my favorite tracks on the MotoGP game. I haven't gone there yet to take in a MotoGP race, but I hope to. You know, you mentioned Annoni. He needed that win, right? He needed that win. And what did you guys think of the race? And also the fact that these Ducatis now are starting to show up against the BMW.
You need Ducati stuff, man. So for race one, honestly, my biggest takeaway from that is the third place guy, Garrett Gerloff, man.
Yeah.
I like saying Garrett, you know, every race do better, podiums now. So GG, keep trucking. I like what he's doing, so that's it. But, in terms of, like, he only beating Raz also, that's pretty big, man. You know what I'm saying? That's a big race, so. And the gap was pretty good also, so I liked it.
Man,
close race.
I couldn't be happier for Ineone. I think you saw how he started the season. I think he just lost that motivation, I think, a little bit, battling. But obviously he's there every round. I think Ineone is trying all he can to get back to MotoGP. And I think I hope he gets at least one of those guest rounds at MotoGP on a Ducati, because that would be epic. I think the best thing about these unfortunate circumstances is the comeback. Yeah. The comeback is better than the come up every single time. Every single time. And to see Ineone come back to MotoGP would be amazing, even if it's for one race. He's showing that he still has it and that he can still bang with anybody. And to beat Toprak, the way he's come, even though he's coming back from injury, it means everything.
Yeah, it does.
But to me, the most special thing that happened this weekend is my man Bautista figuring out how to ride through this challenge of the damn near 20 pounds they put on his motorcycle every week. And it's messed up. And I'm a huge Scott Redding fan. If you check any posts I've had before, I always mention Valentino Rossi, Scott Redding, Josh Herron as some of my favorite riders. But Scott Redding complaining about Bautista's weight and his advantages and disadvantages, my man, it has not benefited Scott Redding in any way or form. He's still 13th on the grid. He's between 10th and 13th on that BMW. And it has nothing to do with Bautista's weight. You know what I'm saying? The only thing we're clear on is once that race is halfway through, that the consumption of that fuel is off that motorcycle, Bautista is a force to be reckoned with. Yeah. And it's not fair that they put damn near 20 pounds on his motorcycle with his size. Did they ever do that to Pedrosa in MotoGP? Why would we de-elevate the level of World Superbike by putting weight on any rider when MotoGP hasn't done that yet?
Bautista was winning every year. He was winning every race. They had to slow him down.
I completely agree. And you look at Petrucci, who lost so much weight to be competitive, and Scott Redding, from what I can tell, he hasn't gone through the same transformation that Petrucci has gone through, and Petrucci was going through it in MotoGP, and it has continued up to this day. Because you look at Petrucci now, he's a slim dude, even though he's a big guy.
Yeah.
No, Scott Redding. Scott Redding is one of these riders that he's always in shape. That guy does not stop. He either boxes or now he's cycling.
Yep.
And he's like damn near a professional cyclist, So imagine the fit that he's in. But Scott Redding made the cardinal mistake. You speak bad about Ducati, you're gone. You're gone. And out of any rider ever in the history of Ducati, no one was allowed to talk the way Scott Redding spoke about Ducati. It took a while for Ducati to say, we're done with that.
Hey, you said he wasn't going to say no names earlier.
No, but this was, he's one of my favorite. You know what I think? Scott Redding is going to win a championship on Ducati, and not just one. He could have been the guy to really go back to back on Ducati because Scott Redding is that skillful. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, he's on a bike that, man, to see Gerloff do what he did this weekend is amazing, right? Because the only person to put that bike anywhere near a podium has been Toprak.
Right.
They've been real. between Sky and Gerloff, we don't know who's better because they've been right then and there. 1 year Gerloff could be 10th, Sky Redding's 11th. Sky Redding's is 11th, Gerloff is 10th. So it's been swapping back and forth. And they're really cool. Like, they really, like, you could tell even on Gerloff's YouTube channel that they really talk about what's going on. They spend time together. They look at each other's data.
How about Buliga? Race 1, warm-up lap. His bike failed.
What we say about them young bulls?
His bike failed. So, crucial points loss. Yeah. What you think about that?
It's
that was huge.
It's the worst feeling to have your bike fail in a race. I mean, I've had it happen at club level. I mean, these guys, he's trying to fight for a title as a rookie, which I don't think the pressure's on him. But obviously, as a rider, he probably adds that pressure to him. So whenever there's a bike failure, happened with Marquez as well. Anytime there's a bike failure, it's tough, and that's the worst. I think when your bike fails, if you crash out is one thing. When your bike fails, you don't even get a chance to be competitive.
Right.
I mean, he finished on the podium the next 2 races. So I mean, like, and right now, Top Rock is at his 414, and he has 375. So I mean, that race was definitely crucial. But it's good to also see Albert Bautista back on track too. So like now, hopefully, he can block Top Rack a little bit because he was running away this whole season until he got hurt.
So do you?
Listen, I think.
Go ahead.
My fault. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead, Rex.
No, I was gonna say. So do you think that Ducati has a chance to find what? I mean, I don't think, but Batista has a chance of winning. But do you think Ducati between the 4 Ducatis, between Petrucci, Inone, Batista, and Buliga, they would have to work together to beat Top Rack, and by the end of the season. So do you think that there's a chance for Buliga to win, unless Top Rack is hurt?
Listen,
in what, the championship or a race?
Yeah, the
championship.
Championship.
We're talking chips now.
Nah. The points lead is what? It's almost like 50 points, man. Not even. It ain't gonna happen.
I think.
Go ahead.
I think. I really wish Bautista was in Buliga's position. I think that's how it should be. Unfortunately, again, I'm gonna keep mentioning these 20 pounds they put in on his bike. Messed up the whole championship. They should have waited.
Right.
He's the number 1 plate. I don't think they should take the number 1 plate by making drastic changes like that to a bike. I think they should have waited, let him double up, and then see what happens. I mean, triple up, right? Because he won it. This is the 2nd year in a row.
Yeah, back to back. It could have been
so this would have been the record, right? No one's done it 3 times in a row.
I don't believe so.
So I think that would have been
my bad. Jonathan Ray, because he got 6 in a row.
But for Ducati, I think on a Ducati and World Superbike, they should have left it alone. But fine, it is what it is, right? If they really did work together, for example, if something was said in the background through Ducati, we're gonna help Buliga or Bautista, who's in 3rd, get the points to keep Top Rack behind. Yo, it'd be crazy.
Right.
In MotoGP, I believe that happens.
Oh yeah, for sure.
In World Superbike, there's no stopping nobody. Everyone, look at Bautista should have never passed Buliga and beat Buliga that last race.
Right.
He should have let Buliga win so he can keep catching up. And on this point, he's chipping towards it. But what happened? Bautista said, "I'm in Spain. I'm going for mines." And he just didn't win one. He won. He won damn near 2 races, 3 races.
Yeah. No,
that would not happen in MotoGP. It would not.
When you got to figure it out, though, you can't slow down. Like, you got that when you know you can run up front and you know how to do it, or if you just done it. That's why it was good to see Gerloff up front as well. I mean, granted that he was winning a race when it was in the rain, but obviously he had a bad result. But
right.
when you get up to that front, there's some confidence that hits you. Where you're like, I can do this again. And it's crazy that we haven't seen Albert Bautista up there damn near the whole year, and he just do back to back,
Right.
Yes. Unfortunate with 2 rounds to go. It seems like Gerloff and Vandermark helped Top Rock out when he was out by finishing between the Ducatis. Then the Ducatis are helping Bulaga to catch Top Rock. Let's go into Moto America, and the last round of the season in Jersey. Track stars, you were at that round. What are your thoughts? Well, everyone's thoughts. What were your thoughts of the Moto America season this year? With Gagne not being able to defend that number 1 plate because he wasn't fully healthy. What are your thoughts on how it turned out? Because it seems like for the last few years with Petrucci, and I think even Herron last year was fighting that Yamaha, trying to get in front of it to get that number 1 plate. What do you guys thought of the season?
So for me, this year, it's a change. I'll tell you what, not Josh. Gagne was past 4 years straight. He's won it. That's a lot, man. I ain't gonna lie. I got tired of seeing him win. I love the guy. He's real humble and cool. But it's like, come on, it's not exciting anymore. Every year was Gagne by 5 seconds, and then Cam Peterson and Matthew Schultz. And that was the top 3 for the past couple of years. And seeing Josh Herron just fight hard and ride aggressive and just pass anybody, any corner you shouldn't even pass at. I loved it this year, So Moto America this year was one of their better years. And then seeing Cam come back and also doing good, then had an accident, missed a couple of rounds. I mean, this year was great, man. I loved it, So hoping next year is better, So.
Smitty, you're gonna have to move to Boston or one of these states that win a lot of championships. It doesn't get old, man. It doesn't get old.
It got old, man.
I think I hear it the most. Obviously, I ride Ducati. Always been a Ducati fan, and a lot of these guys are like my real friends, like Gagne, Josh. PJ, Cam Peterson, Schultz. These guys, like, when you go to a Moto America round, these guys are like right there. Like, you can hug them, you can talk to them, you can have a whole conversation even about flowers. You know what I'm saying? You at the MotoGP, and you really get to bond with these people. And let me tell you that Gagne, as quiet as he is, he talks a lot. And he's been killing me for the past 5 seasons. Every time he sees me, I'm going to beat those Ducatis. They're not going to win it. I'm going to beat them just to shut you up, track stars. And I'll be like, Josh is going to beat you today. And it's unfortunate that he's hurt, man. And I sent him a message, DM the other day, telling him that I hope he recovers, heals back, because we definitely missed him on the grid. And a lot of people say it puts an asterisk next to Josh Herron's win, but to me it doesn't.
No, not at all.
I think at the end of the day, your health is a big part of racing. And Josh Herron has put himself in the best shape ever. You've never seen Josh Herron so slim. You've never seen Josh Herron be so physically fit. except when he was in the Josh Hayes days, next to Josh Hayes on that number 2 bike and beating Josh Hayes for a championship. So you know that, listen, Josh Herring was on the super sport bike to get to a super bike. And he had to prove to the whole team that he was that invested in this championship. And they believed him. They believed him. He won the championship. He wins Daytona. And then he comes back and gets the seat for the Superbike team in competition with people like MotoGP riders like Xavi Flores, Loris Baz, Danilo Petrucci, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And other people who wanted that seat on that bike. And Bobby and the HSBK team said, "Yo, Josh, you know what? We're gonna trust you to take over and put us in contention to win this bike." And they made the right choice, because I've been saying it for years. To put somebody on the Ducati, they had to be somebody who knew the American tracks, was used to imperfected pavements, and knew how to handle a superbike power in the US. It's different when you're on perfect pavements and tracks overseas. It's tough to come here and win when you prefer that type of setting. That's why it was hard for Petrucci, and he did his best, but he couldn't beat Gagne. And I think Josh could beat Gagne even healthy, because Josh's dedication to this is second to none. And when you have what they have, as the other thing that I always said that HSBK had to do was have a teammate. Cam and Gagne work together to make sure either Cam stays in front or Gagne stays in front, and create that separation. And Loris Baz and Josh Herring were able to do that this season. And that's what gave them the championship. And if they stick together next year, get ready, because they're going back to back.
But check it out. And I don't know if you heard or not. But because Josh lost so much weight and he's so small, they're going to put 20 pounds on his bike like Alvaro.
That's not funny. That's not funny.
I think it's still killing. No, I thought this Moto America year was really good. I mean, the fact that I grew up basically learning bikes through Josh Herring, because way back when, I used to do the YouTube thing, and that's how I figured out, like, all right, this guy rides on the track, and to go and meet this guy last year, and he's just so humble. I always rooted for him, but what a perfect season for him to have to win Daytona. Also, in a hard-fought season, there's ups and downs, but to pull it out at the end of the year is just it's awesome feeling, and I'm happy for him. But also, me doing club racing, like you said, track stars. Those a lot of Moto America guys, but I'm starting to ride with a couple of riders that has also been entering Moto America themselves. So it's just been good to follow local riders that I participated with. Having a season and some entering a couple races here and there. But I think it's overall a good season. Not even that, they have like this build, train, race program. For the ladies. And, and there's a couple ladies that we know that are in that as well. So it's just overall good for the sport. There's the show the ladies can do it too. I mean, Michaela's good, and then it was good overall.
Yeah, I completely agree. Before we wrap it up, let's shout out the sponsors and tell folks how they can connect with you.
So for me, sponsors, myself, Smith Shot Racing. You can find me on YouTube, Smith Shot Racing, Instagram, same thing. It's your boy Smitty.
For me, it's obviously Ducati New York and HSBK, Warhorse, Dainese and AGV. Dainese New York, shop over there, mention Track Stars. When you need anything for your motorcycle at HSBK, mention Track Stars as well. AEM, if you need parts for your Ducati, Ducati, MB Augusta and KTM. Use code TrackStars on there. Warhorse NYC. Use TrackStars23. Just DM me. Follow me on Instagram. TrackStars on tracks TRAX_stars STARZ. Because if you need something cheap or discounted, I'm gonna hook you up with that. You heard?
J&G Performance, official Vortex, Hideaway RV Rentals, and Woodcraft Technology is always supporting me for my racing.
No doubt.
And you can find me on Two Wheels and Coffee with a K on Instagram and TikTok.
No doubt.
Right.
Everyone go to B4evaKool.com. We got gear at B4evaKool. You can check out all the episodes. Also, Workbench Technology. Go to Workbench Tech. Get any IT problem solve or products you need there. My name is Rex 45.
My name is TJ with Two Wheels and Coffee.
I'm Smitty, Smith Shot Racing.
And this your boy Trackstar. Stay up on tools, baby. Love you
That's
guys. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.